There are a lot of choruses on the App Store. However, in this video, we're going through 7 that are completely free. And they're awesome and they sound good. And I want you to see and hear how different they are from one another. Alright, so I'll be playing some chords and some bass through these choruses so you can hear the difference between them. But I won't be using a conventional synthesizer. No, I'll be using this, the TX6 from Teenage Engineering. It is a mixer, but it does contain a tiny synth engine. And after doing some MIDI magic inside AUM, I've turned this mixer into a 6-voice polyphonic synthesizer. Now I've decided to order them from the ones that have the least amount of controls to the ones that have the most amount of controls. And so we start out with Magic Switch by Baby Audio. This one is as straightforward as it can get. An on-off button and a blend/mix fader. Not only does it look gorgeous, it also has a gorgeous sound to it. If I were to describe the sound, I'd say that it's kind of warm. It's got that standard type of Boss-esque and Juno-esque when it comes to the stereo field. Yeah, this one is a keeper. You download it and you're gonna end up using it everywhere. It just sounds great. Next up, we got No by Adam Bell. And if I were to describe the sound for this one, I'd say it's got that Juno-esque, Boss-esque sound to it. And when it comes to the stereo field, out of all of the choruses we're gonna go through in this video, this one sounds as if it's got the widest separation in the stereo field. Well, as you can see and hear, it operates as a Juno chorus, and when you combine the buttons, you get that wobbly tremolo effect too. And this thing sounds great on bass. Yes, my playing is whack, but I've got swag. Look at my horsey face. I'm a Swedish horsey. Yeah, yeah. Next up we got SVEP by Klevgränd Produkter. Now I say SVEP in Swedish because it's a Swedish name, and it basically means sweep. So this one is different. It's even titled SVEP Phaser Flanger Chorus because it's a mix of all of those. And here we have a little bit more controls. You can link left and right channels, you have an amount control, and then if you tap down in the middle and drag upwards, you can control the amount of modulation. And if you drag sideways, you can control the rate of modulation. If I were to describe the sound, I'd say that it's got an overall phaser-esque tone to it no matter what you do. And when it comes to the stereo separation, it's got a medium type width. And if I wanted something warmer and wider, I'd go for No by Adam Bell or Baby Audio's Magic Switch. However, SVEP is still very interesting, and I suggest that you try it out on vocals and you'll see what I mean. Next up, we've got Nembrini's Analog Rack Chorus. This one is kind of straightforward: input, output, a control for the modulation rate, and a control for modulation depth. Now this one sounds warm and analog-y even without the analog switch turned on. And it is a subtle effect, but as soon as you turn it on, the sound becomes more warm and more fuzzy. Now, the big drawback of analog rock chorus is that it's mono, so the stereo separation is pretty much nil. But it does sound good, and I like it for certain things, especially when I'm doing chorus stuff with bass. Next up, we've got Zero Chorus by Blamsoft. This one has a lot of controls. We've got one for delay, one for the modulation rate, one for the modulation depth. We even have a feedback control, and this one is super nice to mess around with. And lastly, we've got a mix knob. Now, if I were to describe the sound, I would say that it's warm with a slight metallic undertone. And when it comes to the stereo widening, I would say that it's close to the Juno Chorus and also Baby Audio's Magic Switch. So kind of a regular or standard stereo separation. And of course, it also sounds great on bass, especially when you mess with the feedback. Check this out. Next up, we've got DLYM by Imaginando LDA. Now, I've featured this one before in my video about free delays. I think the plugin is supposed to be some kind of a flanger. However, when you set it up a certain way, you can actually get a delay function out of it. And you can make it sound like a phaser, and you can make it sound like a chorus, kind of like SVEP. If I were to describe the sound for this one, I would say that it's got medium warmth with a metallic flanger-esque undertone. And when it comes to the stereo separation, it's got a low to medium stereo width separation. Next up, we've got GyroVibe by Neon Silicon. This one is interesting because it's got a lot of controls. It's got one section up here for filtering, which is super interesting because you can switch out the filtering, and you even have some modulation options down here. And then on this side, we have the actual controls for the chorus and also vibrato effect. Now, if I were to describe the sound, I would say that it's got a low to medium warmth, and this one is the most interesting chorus out of all of the plugins because there's so much to do in here. And I highly recommend that you download this one and mess with it a lot. It's very easy to get unexpected sounds out of it. Now, before I round this video up, I want to show you one more option that is free depending on what you already own. You see, there is this delay that I have that is made by Chorus called FD1 filter delay. I've set it up to sound as a phaser, a flanger, and a chorus. Now, chorus, flanger, phaser, they're all time-based effects. They're pretty much built out of delays. And I did a video last year all about this, where I showed exactly how to set up a chorus patch like this inside FD1 filter delay. And you can use that technique for any other delay plugin that has modulation capabilities. Right, so if you like the work I do here on this channel, then why don't you give me a thumbs up? And if you don't like the work I do here on this channel, you should still just give me a thumbs up. You know, that's just good manners. If you want to support me in a financial way, go check out my music first. Full list of links down below in the pinned comment. And if you don't want to do that, I got Patreon and PayPal. And if you don't want to do any of it, that's fine too. As usual, I wish you a very productive week. Now go finger all of your stuff and have a lot of fun doing it.